It's 6:03 a.m. Three Venezuelan patrol ships tear across the Caribbean Sea at 28 knots. They're not shadowing, but they're blocking. Engines screaming, white water curling off their hulls as they angle straight for the heart of a U.S. Navy carrier group south of Curaçao. On the deck of the USS George Washington, motion freezes. The collision alarm erupts across the flight deck. Three fast contacts bearing 217, range 12 nautical miles. Closing fast in the CIC, tension spikes like a live wire. On optical zoom, the flags snap into focus. Red, blue, and yellow, Venezuela. This isn't shadowing, someone says flatly. This is a wall. The USS gravely reacts first. Turbines roar to life. 10 degrees starboard, wake foaming white across the strike group. Comms light up. Calm, clipped, surgical. Contacts closing at 28 knots. Recommend intercept posture. Maintain course. The carrier holds steady. The flight deck explodes into motion. Tie-down chains snap off the MH-60R Seahawk. Rotor blades unfold, safety pins pulled. Over the intercom, one line cuts through the noise. They're trying to block us. Sleek hulls, tight formation. No deviation. A strike group worth over $13 billion is now seconds away from having to blink. Or not. The commanding officer doesn't flinch. 3 ships. One line, and a U.S. carrier group that isn't slowing. Down 6:05 a.m. engines. Thunder through the strike group as the Gravely pushes ahead, a gray spear cutting across the carriers. Bow, her mission, intercept. Show posture, hold the line. In the Combat Information Center, the voice of the Surface Watch officer cuts through the noise. Contacts now inside 10 nautical miles. Bearing steady, speed constant at 28 knots. The captain leans forward, hand steady on the console. Visible posture, no targeting. Let them see us. Every sailor knows what that means, the Navy's unspoken rule, deterrence through presence. The destroyer banks slightly, turbines screaming at 90% power. The 5-inch Mark 45 gun turret pivots 10 degrees starboard, deliberate, slow, unmistakable. No lock, no laser, just visibility. Above, the MH-60R Seahawk gets clearance. Razor 21, you are go for launch. Eyes on, weapons cold. Copy, gravely. Wheels up in 90 seconds. On deck, the helicopter crew moves with precision drilled into muscle memory. Tie-downs clear. Rotors flex. One sailor yells, "Clear left!" The Seahawk lunges upward into the haze, inside the CIC. Radar plots update. The Venezuelan patrol craft, 3 Guaycamacuto-class vessels, fan out slightly, keeping formation like chess pieces sliding into position. Their wakes form a shallow V aimed right across the carrier's nose. The communications officer transmits again on an open channel. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are crossing a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. No response. Bridge to engineering. Maintain full turbine power. Copy. Full power set. Below decks, sailors strap in at weapon stations. CIWS mounts hum online. The phalanx system begins its diagnostic whine, barrels rotating at idle speed. Nobody's laughing. Nobody's panicking. But this isn't a drill. Through binoculars, the contacts are visible now. Low silhouettes cutting white scars across the blue water. At this range, even without a radar lock, everyone aboard the Gravely can feel intent. Bridge CIC. Range to lead vessel. Now 8.6 nautical miles. Copy. Log and maintain intercept course. The carrier, meanwhile, doesn't move an inch. No heading change, no slowdown. Because in naval language, that's the loudest message of all. You started this. You end at 6:08 a.m. The Seahawk clears the deck, rotors slicing through humid Caribbean air. Within seconds, it banks south toward the contacts. 3 fast patrol ships running in V formation, 6 nautical miles ahead of the George Washington. Razor 21 airborne. Altitude 500 feet. Eyes on formation in 1 minute. Below, the Gravely surges through open water, shadowing the carrier's flank like a guard dog off its leash. On her foredeck, the 5-inch gun sits rotated forward, deliberate, visible, but silent. Inside the carrier's combat direction center, surface plots look like a slow-motion collision. 3 red icons, 1 blue spear point. Distance is shrinking. Range now 5.4 nautical miles, calls the tactical officer. Weapons visible only. Do not paint targets. Because in moments like this, discipline is the weapon. The Seahawk arrives first. Its FLIR pod locks onto the Venezuelan vessels. Small hulls, gray-green paint, diesel exhaust signatures. Visual confirmation on 3 patrol craft. Formation steady, heading north-northeast. Speed 27 knots. From 600 feet, the details are crisp. Venezuelan flags whipping in the wind. Binoculars trained back toward the U.S. ships. Razor 21 to Gravely. They're in blockade posture. Recommend continued visual intercept. Copy. Maintain eyes. No overflight. The Seahawk circles wide, keeping the sun behind it. A silhouette the Venezuelans can't ignore. Every second of video feeds straight into the Gravely systems below. Aboard the destroyer, sailors brace behind bulkheads as the Phalanx turret hums to life, 6 barrels glinting under the dawn light. The system can spit 4,500 rounds a minute if needed, but for now it's just watching. Every camera on deck records. Every radar pulse is logged. Not aggression, just evidence. Bridge CIC, lead vessel now within 4.9 nautical miles. Copy. Maintain posture. The carrier group still hasn't slowed. Jets are secured. Launch crews at ready. Catapults cold but powered. Turning now would mean conceding the lane. The Seahawk's infrared feed paints the scene in ghostly white. 3. Venezuelan hulls forming a barrier of steel across the sea. They're holding the wall. The pilot mutters over comms. Half whisper, half warning. Back aboard the Gravely, the captain glances at the plot. 1 blink away from confrontation. Keep our bow pointed right through them, he says calmly. They wanted to block a carrier group. Let's show them what that looks like. 6:12 a.m. The sea narrows to tension and distance, 4 nautical miles. 3 Venezuelan hulls slicing across the path of a U.S. carrier group moving at 20 knots. Every deck camera is rolling, but every sailor is silent. Bridge to all stations. Stand by for radio call. Venezuelan naval vessels, this is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are approaching a restricted formation. Alter course immediately. Seconds of static. Then a reply in clipped, accented English. You are entering our security zone. Reduce speed and change heading now. No one moves in the CIC. The air is red and electric. The radar sweep traces the moment like a heartbeat. Contacts holding steady at 27 knots. Distance closing to 3.8 nautical miles. Maintain course. Maintain speed. Visible posture only. Up above, the Seahawk keeps circling, its FLIR turret locked on the lead Venezuelan ship. From 700 feet, the camera shows missile pod silhouettes on deck. Uncovered, angled. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual on weapons pods. No radar locks detected. Copy. Hold orbit. On the carrier's flag bridge, the strike group commander folds his arms, eyes fixed on the display. This isn't an escort maneuver, he mutters. They're staging a blockade. Back on the Venezuelan side, the lead ship transmits again in Spanish. Bolivarian security zone. Change course. The American reply is immediate. Negative. Operating lawfully in international waters under UNCLOS. Maintain safe separation. At 3.4 nautical miles, the geometry becomes personal. The Venezuelans shift formation, bow waves almost parallel to the Gravely's wake. Inside the CIC, the crew's breathing syncs with the radar pings. Bridge EW, no targeting transmissions yet. But they're painting us with surface search radar. Copy, log. Every pulse. The Phalanx turret turns just a few degrees, enough for the, sunlight to catch its barrels. The message is silent but unmistakable. We see you. Binoculars flash back from the Venezuelan lead ship. The next 30 seconds feel like 30 minutes. Every order, every gesture could ignite the world's next headline. They're not backing off, someone whispers. And neither are we. The captain replies. Then, almost imperceptibly, the tone shifts. Venezuelan engines throttle down from 28 knots to 20. The formation holds, but the aggression drains from the motion. For the first time, both sides stop closing distance. The standoff holds, a balance between pride and physics. 18 a.m., engines settle. Wake lines smooth across the Caribbean like someone exhaled. The Venezuelan patrol boats drift from aggression to observation, bows angling east. Throttles ease back to 18 knots. Bridge CIC, contacts reducing speed. Formation dispersing slightly. Copy. Hold course. Keep recording. The Seahawk circles one last time overhead, FLIR camera still locked on the lead hull. The heat bloom from its exhaust dims as power levels drop. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual on course change. They're pulling away. Roger that. Maintain altitude and observe until full separation. On the carrier's bridge, Nobody celebrates. The George Washington stays on heading 217 at 20 knots, steady as a freight train. Keep it that way, the commander says quietly. We don't reward bluffs. Down in the CIC, operators log every second. Radar sweeps, bearing changes, timestamps. The moment becomes data, evidence that professionalism beats provocation. 23 a.m. The Venezuelan patrol craft turn east-southeast, running parallel to their coastline. Range 6.2 nautical miles and widening. No shots fired, but the message is louder than any explosion. Caracas blinked first. 30 a.m. The strike group resumes standard formation. The Seahawk returns to deck, rotors folding in with the sound of steel relief. For the sailors, it's just another day logged and filed. 6:45 a.m. The sea looks calm again, like none of it ever happened. The carrier group pushes onward. Flight deck crews back to routine, sunlight spilling over steel gray, but every sailor on that deck knows what really took place. No gunfire. No missiles. Just nerve, precision, and posture. This wasn't about firepower. It was about who would blink first. And out here, patience is its own weapon. Freedom of navigation doesn't pause for politics. For Caracas, this was theater. For Washington, it was Tuesday.